Hey guys, welcome to yet another of the Loreweek. Excuse me, the Loreweek. Sorry. I know I said I'd be starting late, but I just checked the oven, and actually I got like another 40 minutes before it's even done. And I don't have that much to talk about this week, so I figured I'll go ahead and ramble on for a bit, and then pause to go get food, because I actually have another stream planned that I intend to do. Put that away. So, hello everyone, as they say. Close that up. Put this over here. I'm tired. Hello, Leander, Dakota, Darkrai, Zeiss, Sean, Mr. Darkness, Psychotic, Spirit of Memory, Corrales, Luxia, Epsilon, Cosmic. What's up, guys? So, funny fact, even though we're nowhere near Halloween, I was actually prepping my initial Halloween stream speech today. It came up, basically. I'm not going to say anything else about it right now, but I was reminded of why I have that no controversial topics rule, and I realized that that's going to be a great opening topic for why I have that rule. And I was going to talk about it. Hello, Shadow, Zed. Wait, I already said hi to Zed. Mike Romano, Takoida, of course, Walter World Games. What's up, guys? I actually don't have too much news this week. Again, I've only got like 5 items jotted down. One of them's interesting. I do have a video that has been prepped by Samurai, our resident Kingdom Hearts lore expert who knows Kingdom Hearts lore better than anyone, including me. Hey, Raskor. Where is that? Is this it? I think this is it. Pretty sure that's it. Okay. Yeah, Halloween. We're actually approaching Halloween. It's funny, because people have been asking about that for most of the year. Hello, Dwalin. And Snatchy, hi. And congrats, Shadow. Although, I don't know what to say about that, other than I hope it goes well for you. Because I do. I know what you're thinking. Hey, Permeus. You're thinking, Arsh. Well, don't call me Arsh. I don't really use that name anymore. Lore. Why is it you haven't played Dragon Quest VII on the stream yet? Well, actually, Shuryu has requested... I actually had a couple of questions about this. Shuryu has requested that I do that for this upcoming Friday's exploration. I may actually start next Friday's exploration early, just because Dragon Quest VII is a long game, and I know a couple things about its intro and how long it is. So to give an actual opinion on the game, I'm going to have to be playing it for at least 3 hours. So, yeah. I'm thinking about doing some streaming, yes, Zeiss. There will be a bit of a pause, I'd say maybe about an hour pause after this before I get back to the streaming. But yeah. I do have Dragon Quest VII though. It's right here. Check it out. It's right here. I'm very excited. It's still in the plastic wrap. And I guess I have nothing else to say about that. 3D mode is for ages 7 and up. Oh, God. Oh, 0 viewers. You're right, Darkrai. Hang on. I don't have a knife. I have a screwdriver. Ugh! Screwdriver! Ugh. Ugh. There we go. Ugh. Oh, my goodness. What was I going to say? I'm actually pretty tired. I didn't sleep, like, at all. I haven't been sleeping lately. I haven't even showered. I haven't even done my morning exercises. I got up and I started working. Okay. By the way, for those of you not aware, I've decided to go ahead and start doing the Ruminations posts thing on the forum, like I mentioned in the video I uploaded. And those are actually already up. And, so you can kind of, you know, post there. Please go post there. Nobody's even looked at it so far. I don't know what else to do to encourage you to go post on my forum. If you just really don't like talking to me that much, I mean, that's okay. I get it. But I don't know what else to do at this point. I'm out of ideas. Hello, Azura. Well, considering seppuku is actually supposed to be really horrible and painful, Also, the whole second thing, you know, the this part where the other gentleman takes it, and you have to aim really, really carefully, or else. I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty pleasant to me. Hey, Valiant. Sure, Samurai, I will do so. Is this a bad time to mention that there's a chat plugin for my forum that I could turn on? Do you guys want me to turn that on? Like, genuine question. I haven't because no one's asked for it. But I could just flip a switch, basically. Here, I'll do it right now. Why not? We'll see if anybody uses it. Give me a second. Ah. Here it is. Activate chat box. Bzz, show avatars. Bzz, display. What do you think? Bottom of the page or top of the page? On the other forum, the one that is strictly for D&D, I have it at the bottom. So what do you think, guys? Bottom or top? Oh my goodness! Hello, everyone. And hey, Volkunto, welcome to my Lore Weeks. We haven't really started yet. If you've seen any of my Lore Week videos, you know I just kind of ramble for the first few minutes to give people a chance to see the timestamps that are going to be up here. We'll do it at the bottom, just like I do. I'll go ahead and... Hang on, I gotta validate it. Thank you, Valiant. It wasn't actually my idea, to be completely honest. I'd love to claim credit for it, but it was a viewer's idea. I actually don't remember who right now, forgive me. To do the Loreweek thing. Okay, so... yep, chat box is now there. Bam. And I can just hop in right now. I can be like, hey, look. I'm typing in the chat box. No one's in the chat box, of course, because I just turned it on. But it's on now. So there's now a chat thing there. What time is it? How long are we streaming? We've got a bit of a deadline. Just 7 minutes is pretty good. 7 minutes is pretty good. Loreweek is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's a weekly sort of gaming news, commentary, casual, just me talking with you kind of a thing. It's probably the closest thing I do to an actual podcast. In fact, I believe this actually does qualify as a podcast. Is that coming out in a few weeks, Sarani? Oh, that sucks. I really hope my Star Wars mod still works then. Okay, let's go ahead and start talking about some news this week. Let me actually... Since I know Samurai hates me, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Kingdom Hearts thing. So for those of you not aware, we got another trailer for Kingdom Hearts 2.8. And the very first thing I want to talk about with regards to Kingdom Hearts 2.8 is the fact that they're pushing it more than I thought they would. They're trying to treat it like it's actually a big event. And that means one of two things to me from an analysis perspective. Reason number one, they're desperately in need of pushing out something because they're having issues actually creating Kingdom Hearts 3. And I've heard several rumors, unsubstantiated, that may actually explain what the hell is going on with Kingdom Hearts 3. Disney, obstacles to production, etc. So that's entirely possible. The other possible reason is because they're actually... This has happened to me before. You sit down, it's like, okay, I'm going to write a little short story, and it turns into a novel. You know, that's one example, but you know what I mean, right? You know, it's like, oh, I'm just going to do this little thing. Oh, my God! And it turns into this big, old, incredible thing. That could be exactly what happened here. Let's go ahead and kill that. And let's go ahead and pull up this. Now, so this is the edited version that Samurai put together. The main thing that Samurai did, and thanks to Samurai, I was actually going to do a very... ghetto version of this. I was going to just mute the sound completely and then play a different thing on the side there. But as you can see, whoops, hang on. That's basically what's going to be created here. I'm going to go ahead and play the whole thing really quick. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, Lore, we're going to be losing all sorts of dialogue from this. Yes, you will. There's no fixing that. There is absolutely no restoring that problem because of copyright issues, and I'm not going to have this video flagged and not be able to be viewed in certain countries. Germany's a big one for some frickin' reason. Simply because there's a frickin' song playing in the background. So if you have any complaints about the song and the lack of dialogue, please feel free to tell the world to shut up about its stupid copyright things. Moving along! So, we're going to do pretty much a quick run through here. Oh, hang on. Pause. This is the intro uh, that Samurai put here. Let's go ahead and get rid of these and get rid of me for the moment. We're going to run ourselves through this because it's the shorthand of Lore Runner, Darkrai. So, Samurai here. I know plenty of you were anticipating this trailer. Hang on, I got to do Samurai's voice.
I know plenty of you were anticipating this trailer and wanted lore to dissect it. Unfortunately, Square felt the need to show off Point 2 BBS's opening theme, a new remix of Simple and Clean. While this remix is absolutely amazing,
And I agree with that, actually.
you all know what that means.
So,
I have taken the liberty of muting the original soundtrack, adding music that won't trigger copyright, and adding subtitles so the analysis can still concern.
and I'm not going to do the rest of that. It's hurting my throat. So I'm going to let it run through once, and then I'm going to talk about it, okay? I actually like several Utada songs. I just hate her publisher. January of next year, release date, by the way. That's not true, Permeus. Alright, so now I'm going to mute it, because it's easier for me to bounce around. I'm going to be bouncing around a lot. So forgive me, but you're about to get an analysis trailer. Sorry. Let's skip forward a little bit. So, the first and most obvious thing to talk about here, I suppose I'll go ahead and pull everything else back up really quick. That, and me. Haters gonna hate. Some of this is so obvious I feel silly for pointing it out. But the obvious Sora reaching down into Aqua thing, I mean, that's just so blatantly apparent. I don't even feel the need to discuss it. That's just the obvious connection between Sora, even as a child, to everyone else in question. The next thing I want to talk about And this is just kind of dovetailing the previous point, is the fact that her dive into the heart actually happens to be, if you'll notice there, one of Sora. Now, the problem here is no matter what I've done to this picture, I haven't been able to figure out what those 4 icons are, but I'm pretty damn sure that the upper left one is Goofy, the lower left one is Riku, and the lower right one is Kairi, which would make the upper right one Donald. And this would also make this, if I'm not mistaken, similar to Sora's own dive into the heart, which would mean that Aqua is a little more connected to Sora's heart than we already knew. Plenty of speculation about that, but I'm not going to get into that. Oops. Sorry. Obvious dream drop distance stuff. Nothing actually to talk about here. Dream drop distance. Now, notice it almost immediately segues from that into this. Now, this is going to be a little hard to do. So we're going to slow this down here. Sorry for the interesting frame weight. Frame weight? But I really want to showcase everything that's about to be happening, because they skip through these one per beat. So we're already at Kingdom Hearts, the prologue thing. We can see, we've kind of already seen the new cell shading look, but as we can see, this is it in action here. There's Riku, Kairi, and Mickey. It looks pretty good, except for Mickey. Something just looks wrong about Mickey there. I'm not really sure how to describe it, so we're just gonna leave that there. Obviousness, the fact that she's actually looking at the palace there. Based on everything we're seeing here and everything we see later, I think this is either a illusion or a dream sequence or a memory, because this is not what the rest of the Realm of Darkness looks like at all. I'll showcase that in a moment. Aqua looking sad. Aqua activating one of the puzzle dart fragments. Aqua and the time motif, which is actually present in several aspects of this. Her wandering over Ven, her wandering through the... Notice how the background there, this is more what the World of Darkness actually looks like. Anyone who's seen Karazhan over in World of Warcraft knows exactly what the World of Darkness looks. It looks off. There's literally a top pillar in the background there, just kind of hovering in midair. There's also, like, obvious holes in everything. It's just absent, because it's not fully complete. It's basically like half the jigsaw is absent. And here's a better shot of the exact same idea. Leading up to the mirror, of course, it wouldn't... Yes, I know that's Cinderella's castle. The mirror, of course, would have survived with regards to Snow White's situation here. No surprise there. Notice the thorny thing she's standing on. Keep that in mind for later. So then we cut into the past thing. The past thing. Oh, I actually don't remember if this is the back half of Unchained or the back half of Chi. I honestly don't remember, and it is relevant. But as we can see here, just bits and pieces of things that would fit in both, actually, pretty easily. One nice little note is that symbol right there on the chair. Do you see that? It's actually the same type of symbol we see several times with the older stuff. I don't actually know what it symbolizes, other than the fact that it looks obviously, in many ways, stylistically like a nobody symbol, which itself is just a variant on the heart. This one's really interesting to me, because that is a Chirithy in a bubble, either being studied or, this is my theory, crafted by the gentleman in the black cloak. Now, that's actually interesting in its own right, because we don't know which gentleman that is. Both the Master of Masters and, I forget his name, also wear the black cloak, so that could be either of them, but the fact that he's there working on or studying that one is just interesting to me. It makes me wonder if the Chirithys aren't an artificial life form like the emblem Heartless are. There's Ephemer, because for some reason we got rid of the A. People talking, not much to talk about here. The Keyblade there, we already kind of knew that. Running towards the camera, fighting each other. You know how it goes. Aqua's like, oh, hey, wondering where I left that. Now, this is going to get into some very obvious symbolism, but again, I feel the need to point out. So there's the 3 of them. The other 2 are gone. Their absence leads her to they turn away from her. He turns away to become a vessel. Ven turns away because he becomes the, he goes into the coma. She's like, no, come back. The 2 then swirl around and race around. It's funny because I like this bit here. Those are the thrones from where nothing gathers, as in the Organization 13 thrones. I wasn't actually sure about that at first. It's pretty obvious. It's kind of blurry. But there's a really good shot of them. It becomes much more obvious that those are, in fact, the thrones. Also, you notice there's 3 lights spinning around. Or excuse me, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4. More than 3 lights spinning around. But either way, then we have, of course, Vanitas and Terranord, and they then turn back to Aqua, her friends having been consumed by darkness. One other interesting little note is very soon here. That right there. So they're fighting at the Keyblade graveyard, right? Which itself is kind of head tilting. What I want to know is what the hell is in the background there? Do you see that? Every time I look at that, I think of Lindblom from FF9. Is that just me? Genuine question. Look at that. It doesn't... Unless my visual memory is horribly wrong, and it certainly could be. I've been very tired lately for the last few weeks. That doesn't look like anything from Kingdom Hearts. It looks like Lindblom. Like, it's not quite... it's a little bit too orderly to be a mountain, in my opinion. It looks... There's actually clear cylinders, and there's actually a clear, what looks like a gate right there in the middle. You see the kind of circle, and then like a catapult above that. It looks like a castle. Look at it! Look at it! That does not look like crags. It's clearly and distinctly there. I don't think it's Lindblom either. I think it's a castle. But the fact that it's so subtle and the fact that it's just kind of in the background there just makes me tilt my head. Because that does not look like Radiant Garden, and it does not look like the place I can't remember the name of from Unchained and Chi. So I have no idea what that is. Then we get to more Dream Drop Distance stuff. We're going to actually skip ahead a bit here. There we go. So then she finds Ven! I would put money that this is an illusion just like Terra was. Because why the hell would Ven be here, of all places? Nothing else to add to that. I cannot see that as a rock formation. I can't. Maybe it's just my eyes, but here, look at this thing. Look at this. Here, hang on. This thing is so clearly artificial looking. It doesn't look like a mountainy crag. I know what the plateaus look like in the realm of Doom. That's not what that looks like. Look at it. You see that, right? I cannot be the only one who looks at that, because that was actually my first thought too. I was thinking it was just the crags, the plateaus that he was crafting during the battle, and then I looked at it again. I'm like, well, if that's true, why does that one on the right there have the cylinder thing right in front of it? Why is there the circular thing of the gate? Why is there what looks like towers in the background, etc., etc.? So we'll see, but you know, that's probably the thing that has caught my attention the most in this entire trailer. Is that castle thing that I have no idea what it looks like. And yeah, that maybe that's what Xehanort is building in the future. That could be, you know, a foreshadowing thing. So here's where Aqua interacts with I don't know what, but I have a theory. I don't think Aqua is quite literally interacting with the mirror here. I think she is interacting with her own echo reverberated back from the Realm of Darkness. Remember, I've had a theory for a long time that the Realm of Darkness is a very morphic realm, much more so than the rest of Kingdom Hearts is. And so I think this is basically her talking to her shadow, to use the Persona 4 equivalent. Only your heart is hollow enough to be a demon's. That line also caught my attention. To my knowledge, that's actually the first time the word demon has actually been used, not counting the Frollo stuff, in the whole Kingdom Hearts series. Also, the idea of a heart being hollow is, of course, a fairly common thing throughout the course of this entire series. And Aqua's like, no, my heart is strong, which strikes me as missing the point, because a heart being strong or weak does not have anything to do with being hollow. But that's just me. And then there's going to be a boss fight for this, but we'll see that later. So here's the Master of Masters, based on the voice, I'm guessing. You're telling people the world can be saved by just 7 people. I mean, come on! That's ridiculous. That's like a person being saved, the world being saved by 1 person. Unicorn Man insists they have to try. That's his new name, Unicorn Man. Aced, completely different from Unicorn Man, actually, wants to form an alliance. Man, I don't know. It is possible that's just the crags in the background, but I just don't see it. Anyways, so Ace wants to form an alliance, not Unicorn Man, which I find interesting, actually. Ava is of course, but alliances are forbidden. Ah! And Gulav's, of course, I can. The lining here is so obvious. I don't have much to say about it. Trust no one but myself, and then that sentence is chopped off and leads into, which will lead into the Keyblade War. Now, the funny thing about that thing, and again, this is fairly obvious, is it's either mentioning that trusting only yourself will lead to the Keyblade War, or making alliance will lead to the Keyblade War. You can take it as you will. So we've got the full Yui here. I actually do like the minimalist look of the Yui, in all honesty. The focus bar, the MP bar, HP bar, all that stuff is good stuff, and it's kind of half thing. The thing I really want you to pay attention to is the background. This, in my opinion, is probably the best representation of the World of Darkness I've ever seen, and I'm not just saying that because it lines up with my own theory of how the World of Darkness works. What we are seeing, and I've watched this a few times, I'm sure you'll catch it, even though, especially on slow mode, what we are seeing is fragments of different viewpoints of different areas, and of the area we're seeing here, seen in a different light and from a different camera angle, all being updated live. You see that? Here, hang on. Now, I haven't been able to 100% verify if those viewpoints are, all of those viewpoints, I should say, are of this event right here, but at least a few of them are showcasing things that clearly do not fit with where Aqua is right now. So we're seeing bits and pieces of other places from other perspectives that are actually moving. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but they are moving and adjusting and changing as Aqua herself is moving around. It's brilliant. And also, just combat looks amazing. I don't really have much to add to this. This looks really cool, this whole fighting sequence. Note that she's fighting something new. I don't know if you noticed that, but these are a new form of Heartless. They're basically these squiddy type of Heartless things here. Now, I want to show off one other thing here really quick. And it's... You can see the squiddy thing in the upper right there a little bit better before they get knocked back. And then we fight those things. Now, one of the things that has been a common visual representation of certain aspects of the Kingdom Hearts series is the hexagon. You can actually see the hexagon right now on Aqua's shield. It usually indicates some kind of magical barrier or some kind of magical effect or whatnot, which I bring up because the fake Aquas here actually arrive in a splash of hexagons, which is actually kind of a cool thing here. Nothing really much to add to this. This is Aqua. This is the boss fight I referenced earlier, and Aqua fighting, her image. This is another great representation of the whole, morphic realm thing. She actually attacks a pillar sufficiently that the pillar rewrites local reality, like that, and now she's standing on the ceiling and still interacting with stuff. We don't even know who the traitor is yet. I still firmly stand by my theory that they are all the traitors. I could be wrong about that, but that is still my theory on that. That has not changed. Didn't you think for a second that your actions could be making things worse than they already are? Yeah. I think she's talking to Unicorn Guy there, but it's Unicorn Guy or Lion Guy. I'm not sure which. Oh, I guess it's going to show me. Pretty sure it was Unicorn Guy. So this was actually interesting to me. Very, very interesting to me. First of all, that's the Master of Masters sitting down there talking to, I think, Luxu. And so the kid, they both have young voices. When I picture someone whose name is Master of Masters, who we know almost nothing about, I picture someone with, the Leonard Nimoy kind of a voice or something like that. As opposed to... Oh, that was Snake Woman, sorry. That's my point, Darkrai. That's exactly what I mean, yes. So the Master of Masters there has a very young voice. It's weird, actually. Furthermore, he has gifted, Xehanort's Keyblade to whatever his name is. I can't remember his name right now. And of course, the obvious and blatant thing here, other than the fact that they're both wearing the cloak that protects from darkness, probably to try and survive the coming darkness, is the fact that the Master of Masters turns over a book with a very obvious Heartless within it. I actually spent a while reading the little script in the background, trying to make sense of what I was looking at. That is apparently actually Japanese. Someone better than me told me. I can't recognize Japanese script at all, but I couldn't. Nobody I talked to could tell me what was actually written on the pieces of paper in the background. You get a better shot of his uh, zipper thing there. Now, oops, sorry, wrong section. So Aqua gives in to becoming one with the darkness until Mickey finally encounters her. This is something that a lot of us have theorized on for a long time. I don't remember when it was confirmed exactly, that Mickey has actually met Aqua. In the realm of darkness, I mean, that he actually found her. And, you know, confirmed, hey, Javin, fix your computer. Sorry. Oh, that could be it, Samurai. It would make sense then if it was based off of Japanese script. So this right here is the second thing that really caught my attention. So there's three things: the Chirithy thing, the castle in the background, and this. The funny thing is, I have talked to many people who know the Kingdom Hearts series about what they think is going on here, and all of them have given me the same answer. So, what do you think is happening here, guys? Before I tell you what the one answer that everyone else has given is. Do note, by the way, that the ground is that same thorny stuff that Aqua was standing on earlier. I pointed that out. There, you can see it a little bit better there. And right there. And all of the dark sides lifting something, the thorn-covered red doom, up into that. Three days, 3 days, 3 days. We can see, this is a subtle point that I didn't notice until I watched this on slowdown. Watch the big orb. Watch the giant orb up top in just a second. And every time one of the smaller orbs hits it, a shockwave goes off. Here, watch. By the way, I hope you noticed the castle in the background on the left there. Right there, you see that? Shockwave goes off. There's another one. And then, of course, the Kingdom Hearts symbol appears in the middle of the thing. We'll pause it right here. This is a good shot. So, Samurai, of course, is the only person I've ever heard who said something that isn't Kingdom Hearts. Everyone I've talked to, including me, has looked at this and said, yeah, this is them starting to craft Kingdom Hearts, the darkness side of Kingdom Hearts, or how Kingdom Hearts is perceived in the darkness, or this is actually darkness being wrapped around Kingdom Hearts, you know, something Kingdom Heartsy. Ignoring the obvious visual representation, the hardcore fact of the matter is, from a metaphorical visual design standpoint, the Kingdom Hearts symbol starts to appear from right in the freaking middle of the damn thing. That's a very clearly deliberate directorial choice. Now, what's interesting is Samurai's theory does not disagree with our theory. Think about this for just a moment. What do we know about Destiny Islands? I'll go ahead and summarize. Nothing. We don't know jack about Destiny Islands. And the giant ball of darkness that was above Destiny Islands, it's always been assumed that that was the thing that was destroying Destiny Islands. You probably see where I'm going with this, don't you? This could actually be one overall theory. We could actually both be unified in thought process here. That this is the... Yeah. Let's just say this is the carrier body. I don't know what to call about it. It's an island. That's not true, Darkrai. Anyways, So I don't actually have much else to say. I'm looking forward to this. Kind of wish I had a PS4, but shrug. Worldwide release January 24th, 2017. And I could talk about the box art. I'm not really going to. I mean, there's some apparent obvious symbolism going on there with the fact that the dream drop distance thing is very contained, whereas both Aqua and the back cover thing or whatever are actually, you notice they're in the same background, which means they're connected. Visually they are connected in addition to the fact that they are story-wise connected. And I could point out the fact that Lee gets box art presence just helps to further emphasize the fact that he is a major character, as if we didn't already know that, and so forth and so on. That's all I got. God, I just talked for like 35 minutes about a trailer. What time is it? Where's my thing here? I need to go check the oven really quick now, actually. So I think I'll do that really quick. I'm gonna go turn off the oven really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, to continue. Um, Alright, so next thing I want to talk about is World of Warcraft. I know some of you are sick of it, and I don't give a damn. So, World of Warcraft, right? For those of you not aware, two people have left WoW in the last week. One of them is a gentleman some of you probably don't actually recognize named Craig Amai. He's actually a brilliant designer, in my opinion. He does some really good stuff. He has done some really good stuff. It's actually funny to me because there was some serious theory crafting about why two major people would leave WoW, or excuse me, would leave Blizzard in the same week. But let's just say that I'm going to talk about that here. Hi, Sora Roxas. I'm going to share an image with you here really quick. I just want to share this because this is something that I think more game designers should do, and I mean that sincerely. If you'll give me just a moment. Whoops, that's not the Half-Life 3 thing. Not the Half-Life 3 thing. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys. It's not cool. There it is. This is what I want to show you, okay? This is a whiteboard that he's got going on in his office, okay? And this was actually something he wrote right around Kata, right before Kata came out. And he's one of the major people. Craig is one of the people who really helped work on all the things that was really good with regards to Kata, Pandaria, and Legion, actually. And so he wrote down this thing, categories of fun. I'm not going to summarize the whole thing. He has a whole speech about this, but he wrote down, categories of fun. What are the things that make things fun? And so he just wrote this down, and he was adding to it bit by bit over time. This is great, and I mean this, by the way, sincerely. Any aspiring designers out there, this is not a bad thing, going back to basics, really. So what is fun? Something new, something suspenseful, something challenging, something immersive, something investing, something that's novel, something that involves character, something that involves visceral, it's got cool factor, something that's clever, something that's random, and something that's social. And these are the categories he put here. And he started scribbling like notes, like, well, what qualifies as a challenge? Heroic mode? Yeah, that qualifies. How about tiers? Okay. How about different levels of success? And I'm not going to go over the whole board, but there's 2 points I really want to draw your attention to in the 3 points. In the upper left, effective mix and overlap. In other words, don't just make something that's a gimmick, try to make something that's a gimmick that has something else, In the upper right, it says, anything repeated too much or too frequently loses luster. Absolutely. Don't try to lean on any one thing more than any of the others. And in the far lower left, and this is where the Kata thing really comes in, character, personalities, fictional impact, and I actually have no idea what the other thing says, but the point being that he was trying to emphasize more of a story focus, and it's one of the things that WoW really started going in towards the end there. Also, knockback 500. So the reason I bring this up, though, aside from the fact that he will be missed, is I have actually gotten questions this week saying, is Blizzard dying? Is WoW dying? And if you actually look at the WoW forums right now, oh my god, the WoW is dying, Blizzard is dying. Clearly what's going to happen here is that everyone is going everyone's leaving Blizzard because it's a sinking ship and it's all dying and everything's going to hell. Oh my god. Now obviously this is just gibberish. But the reason I bring it up, expected hilarity? Okay, I'll take your word on that. Hang on, Sean. Yes, WoW's been dead for years. Oh my god, cats and dogs living together. It'll be horrible. The the reason I bring this up, aside from the fact that people have been talking about this, is people have been asking why are people leaving Blizzard, and I got a very, very, very actual, blunt answer for you. They're retiring. They did it. They made a great game. They worked on a great game for 10 plus years. They are now financially sufficiently solvent to be able to do whatever they will feel like with the rest of their lives, and they're done. That's it. I've actually read every word of both of their "we're leaving" speeches more than once. And one thing I used to pride myself on, in fact, I used to do this for some friends of mine, is interpreting, written works, trying to understand what a person's trying to say by how they say it and by what they are not saying. And in both cases, it's clear and obvious, really. Both of them are just tired of it. Both of them are the fact that they've been working on this game. They've been working on one game for 10 plus years. Yeah, they made it, exactly. They're done. They succeeded. It's time to move on. Both of them insist that they're retiring and not moving on to another thing, but there's also some implications there, and one of them is actually stated outright, that both of them are like, yeah, okay, we're probably going to get back into the business after, a break. But we have no plans to do so right now. I mentioned that very clearly because some people have been like, oh, all of Blizzard's talent is leaving to make other games. No. That has happened in the past. There have been other people who've left Blizzard to make other games. That's a common thing, actually. But that's not what's happening here. One other thing I want to comment on. I have seen exactly two types of people regarding Chris Metzen's departure. I'm serious. At least with regards to the forums and the Reddit threads and all that fun stuff. About half the people are talking about how it's about damn time, and God, get these idiots out of here. Finally, WoW can be great again. Make WoW great again! I probably just gave away my opinion of those people. The other half of the people have been saying, and this is interesting to me, it's good, good on him, basically. Now, this is why it's interesting, because of that second half, about half of them praise Chris Metzen and say they're glad he's moving on, and about half of them say, screw Chris Metzen, but they love his, enthusiasm, they love his care. There are people who actually have talked about how, I don't like Chris Metzen's style personally, but I'm going to miss him because he had so much obvious enthusiasm and energy and care. And that's true. Even people who dislike Chris Metzen look at Chris Metzen and say, that man, he's a true believer. He's not doing this for the paycheck. He's doing this because he gives a damn. And it's so on display. It's so apparent. And there's actually been talks about trying to contract Metzen to come back just to perform at BlizzCon, just to be the presenter at BlizzCon, And that's not a bad idea, really. The man has some great charisma. I don't know if you've ever really seen Metzen on stage or whatnot. I've never seen him in person because I've never actually gotten to go to a BlizzCon. But yeah, he's just, and he's got that wah going for him. And it's a good thing to have that kind of a person on stage. And Lord knows he actually does care. If you actually read his, exactly, if you actually read his going away letter, you get the impression that he was trying to fight off tears as he was writing it. He's just talking about how much his life has been shaped, because he didn't come to WoW he didn't come to Blizzard with WoW. He came to Blizzard a lot before WoW, and he had like nothing going for him, and he yeah. So, anyways, I just kind of wanted to comment on that. It is a bit of a shame. I am actually a fan of Metzen's writing, even though he tends to get a little pigeonholed. I do want to see, yeah, exactly, Zed. I do want to say that some people in the former camp who are like, oh, thank God WoW can be good again, are idiots because of many reasons I'm not going to go into, not the least of which the fact that Metzen hasn't really been involved in writing WoW, except for a few bits in Pandaria and Legion. Also, the timing of this, the fact that Varian just spoilered and Thrall just spoilered, I mean, this is something that was well broadcast, and Metzen himself admits that this is not new. This is not a sudden thing. He was building up to this, and he apparently wanted to wait until Legion was out before he finally retired. See you around, Sororoxes. Speaking of retiring, let's go and move on to our next note here. Don't have much else to say about that. I was just asked to comment on it. So this is a weird thing to talk about, but the last Resident Evil movie is coming out soon. I'm sorry, Sean. Ask me again in the Q&A because I'm doing a Q&A stream after this. Ask me there. So the Resident Evil movies. I'm going to go and give my opinion really quick. As you guys know, I'm not really a big fan of horror, and I'm very much not a big fan of gore. So the first Resident Evil movie was kind of okay, and I actually found some genuine enjoyment in the second Resident Evil movie. But the thing that was weird was, hey Lord of Mordor, I was really confused by the second Resident Evil movie, and I figured out why once I actually turned on analysis mode and was like, okay, hang on. Because, yes, I know, Darkrai. I'm talking about the live-action movie, to make that more clear. The reason I was so confused was because it was a comic book. I don't mean that as an insult, by the way. Although, I don't like that, and let me explain why. Please don't hate me, okay? My biggest grief ever with comic books, as they are done nowadays, and this has been true for a long time, it's actually why I stopped reading comic books regularly, is because of the fact that the story never ends. And I know what you're thinking. Well, duh, of course the story never ends. But what I mean by that is each issue is like the last half of a bit and the first half of the bit. So there's like it ends on a you better read the next issue to find out what happens. Now it's obvious why they do that, but it irritates the unholy hell out of me. I like string continuity as much as everyone. Actually, I probably like string continuity a lot better than everyone else does. But ending every single episode on a, oh my god, what's going to happen next? And constant work towards, cliffhangerism. Yeah, exactly. Each issue is a sequel bait. I'm not talking about, like, ending on a strong note. I mean, like Babylon 5, for example, has a string continuity thing, and it will end on some strong notes, but it doesn't always do that. It usually saves strong notes for big punches. Imagine if every episode of Babylon 5 ended with, oh my god, what's this? Dun dun dun! That's exactly what I felt from the Resident Evil movies, and it aggravates the hell out of me. It's just a pet peeve. I'm not saying it's necessarily bad or whatever. It's just something that has always bothered me about the Resident Evil movies. Like, I was actually starting to get into them, especially when Wesker showed up. Wesker's actually one of my favorite characters from the games, and is one that I wanted to see more of, actually. And then they had that, when you play as Wesker thing, which is actually pretty good. Oh, there we go. But, so I haven't actually watched, I'm not actually sure how many Resident Evil movies I haven't watched. There's several, I think. There's at least one. I'm not actually sure. Yeah, exactly. That it's like, ugh. Yeah, that's actually, you know what? That goes right back. Hang on. You see that in the upper right? You see that? Anything repeated too much or too frequently loses luster. That is exactly what we're talking about right here. So there's 7 Resident Evil movies. Okay, so I've seen the first one, I've seen the second one, and I've seen another one. It's the one where Wesker made an appearance, but he was in like the boardroom meeting of all the people, of all the Umbrella people. So I have seen 3 of them. So I'm missing 2 apparently, and then there's this new one. Oh my goodness. And apparently, like, Wesker's back, and it's all going to be, oh my gosh, it's the final battle, and it's going to be finally the moment at which, I can't even remember her name, the main character, Savanovich or whatever, is going to die, finally, and it's just, um, but I do find it interesting that they're finally chopping it off. But I also find it more interesting that they were making money. Don't take that as an insult. I'm someone who actually genuinely enjoys the Expendables movie series. Like I really really liked several of the Expendables movies. So I'm not exactly being like, oh my god, I can't believe it kept that such a dreck movie kept going. Alice, thank you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I find it interesting that a movie that can basically just kind of embrace its own presentation is something that I think should be able to keep going long enough to make a sixth or fifth or whatever movie. You know, the new one that's coming out, in other words, the one that's coming out next year. And yeah, someone, Oldrith just mentioned earlier, anime does the whole constant thing. Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, Attack on Titan. I have nothing good to say about Attack on Titan, so I'm going to not talk about it, if that's okay. I don't want to just bash a movie, but I have nothing good to say about Attack on Titan. And I actually have several friends of mine, I've actually asked them about this, who are anime friends who look at Attack on Titan and say, no. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyways, wow, Resident Evil came out in 2002? That's a weird thought. Anyways, I don't actually have much else to talk about there. Let's talk about something else, shall we? I know. That's just a terrible thought. Where's the 50, not 10? It's freaking stupid. Let's talk about the iOS, shall we? Let's talk about... No, Oldrith, no. No. So let's talk about the iOS thing. This has been kind of misreported, so I don't actually have much to say here. So I'm not going to really go into this topic too much, but I've heard people misreporting and misrepresenting what happened here. So there's this thing where, and the new iOS thing, or the new iPhone, you pull it up and it's like, oh, I can just put in a GIF, and there's like a suggested GIF setting, or GIF if you prefer. And it's like, okay, so I want to say like a butt. I want a GIF of a butt. And rather unpleasant imagery came up when you do an image search for butt. The reason I say that this is misreported is I have heard a surprising number of people saying that the iPhones have porn on them, with the obvious implication that, like, the new iOS has porn built into it. This is not true. Okay, let's make that 100% clear. Now, I do think that what they're doing was neglectful and stupid, but what they were doing was they were just doing a raw image search across the internet, regardless, for any other random image you could come up with, and there were many rather innocent words that can be turned into rather unpleasant things. That's all it was. Now, Apple has since gone back, and I actually agree with them on this. I'm usually not in favor of censorship, but this is a rare case where I agree with this, where they have gone back and they have actually locked down excessively on this, to the point, well, I shouldn't say excessive, I'm sorry, I'm saying the wrong word. They have locked down sincerely on this. They have made it so that certain words basically don't return a search setting at all, and they've put lots and lots of filters on the search setting. You might be like, well, why are you in favor of that? Because if you go to a Google page, if you go to a web browser and type in "I want to look at butts," you get what you came for. Okay, no problem there, and you can still do that on the iOS, by the way. 7, 10, I forget which version it is. Anyways, you can still do that. But when you're just randomly texting someone, and it's just like, hey, do you want to suggest an image for this thing? There's no filter on that. It's entirely possible for you to get something that you don't want and that you didn't intend to get. You see how that works there? So I'm totally okay with the idea of, hey, you don't get random pornography or horrible, disgusting violence. That's another one that showed. Nobody, everyone's talking about the pornography thing. There was actually some rather horrific, body horror kind of things that were showing up too. That were showing up as well. And that's another thing that, like, for example, if Minizan was just randomly, I mean, she's too young to be texting on the phone, but if she was just randomly texting on the phone, I don't particularly want her to see someone whose guts are splayed all over the ground. That's not something I want in her brain as a 7-year-old. especially if she's not looking for it. If she says, Uncle Lore, could I go and look at some gross pictures? And I'd say, well, why do you want to look at gross pictures? And we talk about it for a bit, and she gives me a reason to say, yeah, I'd like to go do this. Then fine, she's actively seeking out and knows what she's getting into. This is the equivalent of you're walking down the street and someone walks up and says, here, look at this horrible thing. You see the problem? So I'm on Apple's side on this one, which is disgusting to say because I hate Apple as a company. They are a disgusting, horrible company. But I am absolutely in favor of this one. And I'm apparently a communist, too. Who knew? Yeah, exactly. And there is such a thing as Safe Search. There is such a thing as parental and personal account settings. But that didn't work, Deacon. That wasn't a thing. It is now. But I digress. Point being, let's talk about the final thing. Let's talk about why we can make America great again. Sorry. Let's talk about stupidity in legal system. I'm not going to name names because I don't feel like it. You can look it up if you feel like it. If you had... Let's imagine for a moment that you are a horrible, horrible person, okay? Just bear with me. And let's say that you, as a horrible person, are weak and greedy and childish and stupid. Yeah, basically, Darkrai. I should have done it already. I mean, the only reason this account is still Arsene Gaia is because Twitch refuses to change it for me. I actually petitioned them to change it for me. Anyways, let's say for a moment that you are a disgusting human being. I know it's actually probably legitimately pretty hard for you to understand this. But you are a weak, childish, greedy, pathetic person, okay? Now, what can you do about that? Historically speaking, not much. This is actually, this is what I usually refer to as a typical bully. This is the kind of person that is just a horrible, horrible individual. No, Minizan is not 7. Sorry, didn't mean to miss. Yeah, Philfish, that's actually a good example. Now that you're this horrible person, I need to take a timestamp. Whoops. Sorry. There we go, timestamp. Let's say you're this horrible, horrible person. Let's say as this horrible, horrible person, someone has tried to say that something you did was horrible. Let's also assume for a moment that you did do something horrible. Okay? So, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about anyone in chat. I'm talking about a company who I'm not going to name because they don't deserve to have the press from me, even though it would be a little bit of press. But let's assume you're this horrible person at this horrible company, and you've made a terrible product. And everyone knows you've made a terrible product. They have recently sued an entire Steam group, this company. This is why I'm mentioning the bullying thing. The legal system is wrong. I've said this thousands of times. Yes, Andoria. This legal system is flawed and messed up and wrong. I've said that so many times. It's so horrible. And they're actually suing a Steam group. Now, here's the thing. They will not win this case. But that doesn't matter, does it? Because the damage is still going to be done. Because of the fact that it's been put forward now, and lawyers are involved, now a defense has to be made. Let me point something out that some people don't really know about. Let's say for a moment that you are accused of murdering the Pope. Okay? You are accused of murdering the Pope. Now, let's take a moment to mention something. Here in the United States, legality varies from county to county. There's actually no, people talk about federal law. Federal law is more like a guideline. No, I'm not, Ajit. Shut up, you idiot. I'm calling you an idiot to your face because you're an idiot. But I'm not implying you're a horrible person. I'm implying that this company is a horrible person, okay? Get over yourself. Moving on. So, here in the United States, if you are accused of something and a county decides to take that up, because they can reject it right off the bat, okay? They can just say, nope. But let's say they take the case, okay? If they take the case, you are now basically legally obligated to defend yourself. You are legally obligated to face your accusers. You are legally obligated to defend yourself against whatever they're pushing, and so forth and so on. You get the idea here? So, the damage here is being done by the accusation, not the conviction. People don't understand how this works, and this is one of the reasons I want to talk about this. You accuse, the accusation is accepted, then there's this whole process where they're supposed to get evidence. Then after that you have, I actually can't remember what it's called. There's actually a term. Forgive me, I can't remember the term. But anyways, there's another term here for what happens next. Then after that point, we get to the point where you actually are tried, and then you are acquitted or convicted. But the problem is, the conviction over here isn't actually the problem, it's the accusation, the first step in the process. Because you have to go all through all this crap, and the odds of it getting thrown out in court are small. This is being done by bullcrap. For bullcrap reasons. Because someone is a small dick. This is being done by a bully. No more and no less. I don't really have actually much else to say about that. I just wanted to comment on how incredibly broken that is, and how wrong that is. That's actually all I've got for this week. It's raining. I'm gonna go ahead and chop it off. I'm gonna go get my my lunch. I'm gonna set up a straw poll. Here, actually, hang on. I'm gonna chop it off for our YouTube viewers.